Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev is off for UFC 317, even though it wasn't officially announced, which now means that the UFC is in shambles for finding a main event for the most important card of the year. A report from Kevin Iole came out today that Dricus sustained an injury in camp, so now his bout between him and Khamzat are now off. And now what is going on is Kyle Barrio, the one of the fighting nerds, have said that he wants to fight Khamzat Chimaev for an interim title or something, which is absolutely stupid. So Dricus du Plessis is out. Khamzat Chimaev versus Kyle Barrio is looking like a very big possibility. Kyle Barrio tweeted, Khamzat said yes, the only thing that makes sense is the interim belt. This fight is going to be bigger than him versus Dricus. Mark my words. Okay, that's just fucking stupid. Kyle Barrio versus Khamzat Chimaev is not a bigger fight than Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. One of the most anticipated fights of the year. I get why if the UFC comes out and says the main event is now Khamzat Chimaev versus Kyle Barrio, what's gone on? What's happened to the sport? What's happened to this sport? There's been nothing but bad news from the UFC. And one thing that I'm wondering is Kyle Barrio has said that he's going to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev has responded to him. We're forgetting about Nasruddin Imavov, the guy who literally just knocked out Israel Adesanya. Why isn't Nasruddin Imavov getting this shot? This makes no sense. He deserves it more than Kyle Barrio. Kyle Barrio's last fight was a decision win over Jared Cannonier. Old man Jared Cannonier. So then why is he getting the shot? I get that he's a fighting nerd and PR, it makes sense. But let's be honest, out of all the fighting nerds, Kyle Barrio is the least hyped fighting nerd. He's only there because he's the leader of the group or anything. But he's getting popularity from all of everyone else getting huge high real knockouts. He's only popular because Jean Silva, Carlos Pratas, and Mauricio Huffy are getting these incredible once-in-a-lifetime knockouts. So, I get from a PR perspective, but Nasruddin Imavov deserves the shot over Kyle Barrio. But even then, this fight should not be made. And we don't even know the severity of DDP's injury. If it's let's say a small injury, let's say he comes back in August. There was no need for an interim belt at that point then. You do an interim belt if DDP can't come back until December. If it's a long lasting injury. That's when you do the interim belt. But doing an interim belt for a small injury makes no sense. And I also saw a tweet of Khamzat Khamzat literally said, "This guy biggest bullshit." That makes no sense. You should not be talking, Khamzat. This man is the guy that pulled out of 6 fights. He had the 3-fight Leon Edwards debacle back in 2020. He pulled out of the Robert Whittaker fight over fucking cold. And he's pulled out of so many fights. What else? He's pulled out of he weighed in 11 pounds over against Nate Diaz. This guy should not be talking. Anyways, you don't do this fight. You don't do Khamzat Chimaev versus Kyle Barrio because I want to see more contenders in the middleweight division. Call up Sean Strickland. Call up Robert Whittaker. Israel Adesanya. These are the guys that should be fighting these up-and-comers. Not Khamzat Chimaev and Kyle Barrio fighting each other. No one wants to see this fight. I want to see Khamzat versus DDP. If the injury is 2 months, then it should be Khamzat versus DDP in August or September. If the injury is long term, okay, then sure, we'll do a Kyle Barrio versus Khamzat Chimaev fight. Because I get it, Khamzat Chimaev has probably been training for this, so he wants to fight on this card, and that makes sense. Having Khamzat Chimaev on this card will get a lot of pay-per-view buys, but you have to add bigger fights too. You have to add Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Anyways, there should be no way in hell that Kyle Brau gets a shot over Nasruddin Imavov. Imavov deserves it more, but I'll be okay with either fight. But in the end, it should be. I want to see Hamza Chimaev versus DDP. I'm done of seeing Hamza Chimaev versus someone that's not the undisputed champion. It should be Hamza Chimaev versus DDP for the undisputed belt in like August. And this is pending on if the DDP injury news is actually true. If it isn't, then keep this for International Fight Week. But it looks like it is true because Hamza basically confirmed it. And then, what is going on with Dana White and these fighters? There's three. There's only three options for International Fight Week, the biggest card of the year. You do DDP versus Hamza, which is basically off. Islam Makhachev should fight someone. He fought in January and he took no damage against Renato Moicano on short notice. Islam Makhachev should fight. I'll get to that in a second. And John Jones has to fight Tom Aspinall at some point. The last time he fought was in fucking November, and he barely took any damage against old man Stipe. This John Jones shit has gone out of control. Dana has to, at some point, he has to fucking lay the belt on these fighters and take control of his actual company because I'm sick of these fighters asking for what they don't deserve. This is a fan sport. You please the fans. You don't please the fighters. So this is what you do at lightweight. Islam Makhachev should headline International Fight Week. He should fight Ilia Topuria. Just make the fucking fight. Ilia Topuria deserves the title shot. I'm sick of this shit. We have 4 contenders begging for a title fight, and we have a champion who's refusing to fight contenders. It makes no sense. We have Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, and Arman Tsarukyan all asking for a title shot when only 2 of these people deserve it. Arman Tsarukyan deserves it more than anyone, but the UFC already said that they're not going to give it to him, and Arman Tsarukyan kind of knows that already, so he's probably not going to get the title shot. Ilia Topuria wants to fight Islam Makhachev, but Islam's team and Khabib are saying, "Oh, we want someone that's established at 155. We want someone established at 155, brother." Like, what? Okay, so that fight's probably not going to happen because Islam is not going to fight him. And then you have Charles Oliveira, who is saying, I don't want to fight for anything else but a title, when he just fucking beat old man Michael Chandler. But before that, he lost to Arman Tsarukyan. And then you have Justin Gaethje. This is the fucking worst thing. You have Justin Gaethje begging for a title shot, and Islam Makhachev wanting the Justin Gaethje title shot. What is going on? If I see Dana White's bald head ass announce Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje for International Fight Week, I'm going to fucking lose it. Justin Gaethje just fucking barely beat Rafael Fiziev in a decision, and then before that, got fucking masterclassed, knocked out last second by Max Holloway, who just got knocked out by guess who? Ilia Topuria. What is going on at lightweight? Dana White has to fucking take control of his company because this has gone out of control. You do Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria at lightweight. No questions asked. That's the fight you should make. Ilia Topuria deserves it. Oh, by the way, Islam Makhachev Khabib is saying Islam wants to fight real contenders, guys who have been at 155 for a long time. This is so stupid. The Ilia Topuria fight is more. If Islam beats Ilia Topuria, it's way more impressive than Islam beating Justin Gaethje. Everyone will think that. It's also a bigger fight, so it'll do more pay-per-view numbers. It'll be like one of the biggest cards of all time because this is the biggest fight. I think this is a bigger fight than John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, to be honest. Islam Makhachev and Khabib wanting Justin Gaethje makes no sense. Justin Gaethje, a fucking 37-year-old man, is just going to be another Justin Gaethje title shot experience. He's going to get fucking outclassed by Khabib, by Charles Oliveira, and he's going to get outclassed by Islam Makhachev. It's like we already know what's going to happen in this fight. We already know that Islam Makhachev is gonna fucking dominate Justin Gaethje for 1 or 2 rounds, and then submit him with a Darce choke. That's probably what's gonna happen. When if Islam Makhachev fights Ilia Topuria, we have no idea what's gonna happen. I could see Ilia Topuria knocking Islam Makhachev out, but Islam Makhachev could also could also beat Ilia Topuria. Brother, we want the Justin Gaethje fight, brother. You is at the 155 for a long time, brother. Like, what the fuck is this shit? This is so stupid. Islam also, the guy who has that fucking what's that quote on the UFC PI? I'm the champion, so I'll fight whoever, whenever, wherever, brother. Then fight Ilia Topuria. It's a bigger legacy fight. It does more to your legacy than fighting Justin Gaethje, because what was Justin Gaethje's last 2 fights? Justin Gaethje got masterclassed by Max Holloway for 5 rounds, and then came back a year later and then barely beat 11 ranked Rafael Fiziev on 2 weeks' notice in a decision. Ilia Topuria, probably coming off the two greatest back-to-back wins of all time, Ilia Topuria is going to fight. He knocked out the greatest featherweight of all time, Volkanovski, out cold, and then he knocked out the guy who masterclassed Justin Gaethje and dominated him. Ilia Topuria is a bigger fight for Islam Makhachev than Justin Gaethje is for Islam Makhachev. I'm so sick of this shit. You give the champions, the real contenders, you give them the good fights, and then call it. That's how you should run this company. I'm so sick of this shit. Justin Gaethje, I could already see Dana White announcing, "What's up, guys? UFC 317. Justin Gaethje, Islam Makhachev will be defending his belt versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Justin Gaethje coming off a great win over Rafael Fiziev. Who doesn't want to see the highlight Justin Gaethje? Your favorite fighter's favorite fighter." Like, I can already see that happen. That's probably going to happen. I'm just not going to watch it. Islam Makhachev has, 1 or 2 fights left at the lightweight division before... I mean, it might be 0, depending on how the Bilal versus JDM fight goes. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Fucking, this is the guy that's trotting around saying, "I'll fight anyone." Then fight Ilia Topuria. It also seems like that Ilia Topuria had a promise with the UFC. By the way, Israel Adesanya got the chance for double champ status after 2 defenses. And those 2 defenses were way worse than Ilia Topuria's 2 defenses. He beat Robert Whittaker for the belt. Ilia beat Volk for the belt. Way bigger. He had the worst title fight of all time against Yoel Romero. Literally the worst title fight of all time. Ilia Topuria knocked out Max Holloway, who masterclassed Justin Gaethje within 3 rounds. And then Israel Adesanya beat Paulo Costa and then moved up to fight Jan Blachowicz. Ilia Topuria beat Volk, beat Holloway, and he was like, "You know what? I'm just going to let go of the belt. I'm going to vacate the belt." He's not begging for a double champ status while he has the belt. He vacated the belt, and then he fight Islam Makhachev at lightweight. So I'm just so sick of this stupid shit. And then, okay. Why the fuck has this John Jones-Tom Aspinall fight not been made? I still have hope that this fight probably will get made, but I have no clue what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to make the fight, to be honest. John Jones is basically retired at this point. Let's be honest. He's not doing fucking anything. John Jones sitting on his ass after he took barely little damage against Stipe Miocic back in November. It's fucking April, by the way. He took little damage against Stipe. And now he's sitting on his ass, asking for 6 months for a training camp. You know what else is 6 months? A fucking steroid cycle. This dude's gonna do fucking roids. He's gonna roid up for the Tom Aspinall fight. USADA's coincidentally not gonna test him, and he's gonna fight Tom Aspinall on roids. And then it's so fucking stupid. This fight should have been made for International Fight Week, the biggest card. But they're probably gonna. What I see happening is that they're probably gonna have this fight go to Madison Square Garden in November because obviously John Jones is like, you can't do any other fight besides John Jones in the Madison Square Garden. Like, it's so unbelievably stupid. We're wasting Tom Aspinall's career. Tom Aspinall was 30 when he got the belt. Now he's 32. We're wasting Tom Aspinall's prime. We're wasting his prime. Everyone wants to see this fight. This could be the biggest fight ever. Also, Islam Makhachev versus Ilya Topuria. This could be the biggest fight ever. You make this fight. Who doesn't want to see this fight? John Jones said he's not retiring. So this is what you do. You go to John Jones. You say, John, you either fight Tom or vacate the title. It's one. That's what you got to do. Fight Tom or vacate the title. Tom's almost been. It's been almost a year since he's fought. Last time he fought was in July. It's been almost a year since he's fought. We're wasting his prime. It's so stupid that this fight has not been made. It's so stupid. And like what the fuck is with what's going on with UFC? I feel like I'm seeing nothing but bad news from the UFC. Nothing but bad news. I don't want to see Caio Borralho versus Hamza Chimaev. It makes no fucking sense. It really makes no sense. Why the fuck is Charles Oliveira begging for a title shot? Dude, you just fucking crushed Michael Chandler, who just got fucking demolished by Paddy Pimblett. By the way, I'm also seeing all this stuff that people are saying Paddy Pimblett. People don't talk about it a lot. Paddy Pimblett is, people are saying that Paddy Pimblett should get the title shot. What? Paddy Pimblett's last 3 fights were against Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, and Michael Chandler. No, this is what you do. You do Islam Makhachev versus Ilya Topuria, International Fight Week. And then you do Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. And then you could do Arman versus... You could do Arman versus Oliveira. And then the winner of that gets a 5-round co-main. 5 rounds this time. And the winner of that gets a title shot. Or you could do... if Islam decides, if JDM beats Bilal and Islam wants to move up, it's so easy. You do Ilya Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title at International Fight Week. Justin Gaethje fights Paddy Pimblett. Arman Tsarukyan fights Dustin Poirier. Because I don't want to see the Dustin Poirier Max Holloway fight. No one wants to see that. What does it do? It does nothing. And then you do Max Holloway versus Dan Hooker. Banger fight. That's what you do. Start threatening these fucking people. If I'm Dana White, I go, Islam, either fight Ilya or vacate the title. That's what I'm doing. If one of these fucking champions starts saying no to opponents, I threaten to vacate them. I make the fights, you fucking fight who I want you to fight. That's how this should go. But now we have a fucking era where champions want to fight specific people. And you also have an era where fucking contenders are asking for nothing but a title shot. This is so stupid. This is so freaking stupid. I don't know what's happened to the UFC. The UFC's got to fucking take control of their company and start just fucking telling fighters what to do. I don't know how to save this event. I doubt that Islam or John Jones wants to fight at International Fight Week because we have champions that don't defend belts now. Like John Jones fought in November, Islam fought in January. Islam took 0 damage. John Jones barely took any 0 damage. DDP fought in February, took some damage, and is willing to fight before these two fight again. At least DDP is active. And him pulling out of the fight makes sense. I get it because it's the biggest fight of his career against Hamza Chimaev. You have to be perfectly healthy. I get that. So I reckon it's a small injury, so I would do Hamza versus DDP in like August, September, maybe. And I'm not doing this Kyber. Okay. This is what I'm doing for International Fight Week. If John Jones and Islam Makhachev don't want to fight by then. I don't even know what to do, to be honest. What the fuck do you do for this event? Who can headline it? Zhang Wei Li? Oh my god. Who headlines it? Pantoja? Oh my god. The biggest fight card of the year is going to be the worst fight card of the year. I say you have Ilya Topuria fight International Fight Week, whether that be for a title or not. And then you can add the Hamza Burayo fight, because then it would be like, oh, you have stacked big fights on this card. But it's so unbelievably stupid that we have champions not wanting to fight their fucking contenders. And we have contenders that are fucking... Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev is the biggest fight in UFC. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is the biggest fight. And you have two massive fights in 2025, and they're probably not going to be made. Because the UFC and Dana White don't know what to fucking do anymore. The UFC might have officially fallen off. It's a bad year to be a UFC fan. It's fucking stupid. John Jones fucking Roy Cheat not fighting his the interim champ who's defended his interim title. He won the interim champion in 2023. We're in 2025. He should have fought for a fucking undisputed belt by now, Tom Aspinall. But John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time, apparently. This is so fucking stupid. Anyways, that's it. I don't know what else to say. Fucking Justin Gaethje's probably gonna get a title shot versus Islam Makhachev. We're not gonna watch. We are all not watching it. We are all not watching that. Boycott if Justin Gaethje versus Islam Makhachev becomes a fight, we will be boycotting the UFC. Anyways, that's it. Fucking International Fight Week is doomed. The UFC sucks. I'll see you later.